Welcome to your new XenApp desktop. This type of computing is still remote access applications, but it's simpler, faster, and cleaner from a user point of view. It's still very important to have your files on your network drives and not on your host system, but now you don't have to worry about using the system incorrectly. As long as you are on the XenApp desktop, as seen in this video, you are using it correctly. The XenApp desktop icon has changed. In the past, you may have had a red ball, a blue ball, and now you will see a black chevron. This black chevron, when running on your host computer, is what posts the Citrix XenApp launch point. This launch point can be found as a desktop shortcut, in your program files, or it can be pinned to the taskbar. This is how you'll start your Citrix desktop each day. Your new desktop is an overlay on your local host system. Your host system. Let's first learn about the toolbar. The toolbar will always be displayed at the top of your XenApp desktop. The toolbar allows you to move from within your XenApp desktop and your host system. The buttons are well named. Home takes you back to your local Windows host system, and Window allows you to reduce your XenApp desktop to allow you to see inside the system and outside the system. I recommend going full screen whenever possible. Once in full screen mode, you know you're using your XenApp desktop correctly. Most things are configured for you. Let's talk about another important feature of the toolbar, the Control-Alt-Delete button. Let's say you have an application that's locked up and not working properly. It could be that you've opened a file that wasn't on a network drive and it's acting slowly. It could be that there's a macro in a Word document that's misbehaving. Or it could be that there is a photo that's too large to be attached. Either way, the application needs to be resolved. If you do a Control-Alt-Delete on your keyboard, it will take you to the task manager of your host system. Your applications are running on a server and the data center, so you need to use a task manager that's connected to the data center. This is why the toolbar has a Control-Alt-Delete. When I hit Control-Alt-Delete here, you will see that it takes me to a 2008 server and a Start Task Manager. This Task Manager will let me disrupt an application with highlight and end task, and it will make a clean close and keep other applications running. The other way to get to Task Manager is to right-click the taskbar. Within the desktop, you can use applications just as you would have in the past. Tools like Connection Center, Network Drive Access, or USB Drive Detect are either embedded in the new version or not needed. Just use your desktop as you would a computer at home, and as long as you take the time to move your files first, you can't go wrong. Your national applications can be found in your Start menu under All Programs. They'll either be located in two places. The place that you should look first is XenApp Applications. This is where you should find all your national applications that you need. If you cannot see an application there, you can point to the old Citrix farm, which is still being displayed, under MetaFrame Applications. Here you may recognize the name with the Citrix in front. We've done away with that in the new version, but if you still can't find an application here, try the MetaFrame, and if something is not being displayed to your profile, contact the service desk. One of the nice features, if you're always using one of the national applications, like MRS, is to right-click and pin to Start menu. When I choose Pin to Start menu, you'll see that MRS is always available, just as Catch an Effort, Feats, Outlook, and Explorer will always be at the top of my Start menu. If I choose to not have one up here, or if I'm just experimenting with the pinning feature, I can unpin from Start menu. Let's talk more about the pinning feature. Many users ask if you can leave files on your XenApp desktop. The answer is yes, but there's a better way. If you leave a folder full of files on your XenApp desktop, your logon time increases. But if you learn to pin your favorite folders to Explorer or pin your most used Word files in Word, you will have a quick access to these files, and this is simpler than filling up your desktop. Here's how. Let's say you're always using the same folder. I'll open up my U drive, and I'll go to the directory in question. So black binder, 12, arrange data, student 2, reporting for South Coast. Let's say this is the file that I use on a regular basis. Once I've opened it once, it becomes in my recent files in my right click of the application. Right click, recent. If I know I'm going to use this file on a regular basis, you should pin it. Once it's pinned, it stays up in the pinned section and is easy to get to. This is like favorites, but for files. The same goes for your folders. When I right-click the folder icon on my taskbar, you can see reporting for all South Coast. Let's pin it right there. So now, if I want to go straight to there, I don't have to drill down with all these directories. If you don't want something pinned, you can right-click it and choose to unpin it. It automatically goes to your recent, and if you want to remove it from your recent, remove from this list. All of your applications in the taskbar work like this. PowerPoint, right-click. Excel, right-click. The difference with Outlook is, and you see it best on this one, is Outlook prompts you for a new mail message or a new appointment or a new meeting. And these are the tasks you would use in Outlook. Once I have a few files open, you might notice that the desktop, Show Desktop button has been removed. It used to be down on the left, down by the Start button. It's been moved down to this triangle down at the bottom. When I click on it, all my desktop applications come down to show my desktop, and when I click on it again, all my desktop applications that are currently running come all the way up. One thing that you'll have to understand with the new version of Office 2010 is the way you can tell if an application's open. If I just put my mouse over the bottom of this Word, you can see that Word is actually running with two files. In Excel, there's another file there. In PowerPoint, there isn't a file. So if instead of opening up Word again and again, I can either open up a previous file, or I can open up a blank version of Word. Where this makes most sense is in Outlook. When I open up Outlook, you'll see that the Outlook folder in the taskbar gets larger and shows me that I have something started. If I was to right-click and build a new message, the folder gets larger and shows you that there's two things. So instead of opening up Outlook again and again, see if it's opening already and go to it like that. Let's minimize all of our files by using the Show Desktop button. There's been some changes in the way you enter your username. To allow for a faster logon, consider entering your ENT domain at the front of your username. Let's use Outlook Web Access as an example. When I load Outlook, you can see that there is no box for a domain, but you're being prompted for domain \username. If you enter XAUSER7, without the domain, it comes back as wrong username or wrong password. If you enter the domain in the front with a \, pointing to the left, this will force it to look in the correct domain and give you quicker access. If you have troubles with this, please contact the service desk.